Welcome viewers, you're watching Macattack, and in this video I'll be going over all the different types of lightsabers. For my own categorization, a unique type of lightsaber is defined by a differing length or number of blades from the standard saber. Other differences I would class as subdivisions from the main type. For example, a curved hilt lightsaber is a variant of the single-bladed lightsaber type. Different variants will not be included in this video, but I will be doing separate videos for the variants of each lightsaber type. With that out of the way, let's go through all the lightsabers. The most common type of lightsaber is the standard single-bladed lightsaber, mostly referred to simply as a lightsaber. As the base design from which all other types branch off of, its greatest strength is its simplicity. It has no real strength to revel in, but no gaping weaknesses either. It is one of the most manoeuvrable of all the designs, with speedy attack flourishes being the common approach for practitioners of the weapon. It can also offer decent reach towards one's opponent, and average leverage, meaning a strength-oriented fighting style is certainly viable as well. The hilt is approximately 9 to 14 inches in length, and the blade is usually just over 3 feet long, but it can differ slightly to suit the needs of the wielder. On that note, most lightsabers have a control to alter the length of the blade to better suit the user's size, and also have different power adjustments to be used in sparring matches. The smallest shield is a hard target to hit and can allow for speedy flicks of the blade to catch enemies off balance. Its maneuverability makes it ideal for dealing with multiple adversaries and blaster-wielding foes, and its versatility makes it a very accomplished weapon in one-on-one combat. The lightsaber pike is a rather rare type of lightsaber that is commonly wielded for defensive purposes such as guards. It is commonly referred to as a saber pike or light pike. The blade is often around half the length of a standard lightsaber, being around 1.5 feet in length. However, that is not the main distinguishing factor, rather the large hilt. Ranging in size from approximately 4 to 8 feet in length, the shaft is a thin pole, with the emitter on one end, to protrude the blade. Its greatest strength is its reach, and its greatest hindrance is the large target offered by the hilt. Because of this, the handle is almost always comprised of a lightsaber-resistant metal or alloy, often being cortosis or frike. In fact, in my opinion, you would have to be a fool to use this weapon otherwise. With such specifications, another strength is the large surface area for parrying, and the ability to hold the weapon almost the entire way down, only excluding the small blade. It is most commonly associated with spears in the way it handles and the fighting techniques used with it. It compromises speed and maneuverability for reach and leverage in combat, and as a result can be unwieldy on the battlefield and against shooters is all but useless. It can however be quite adept against multiple melee fighters, or even in single combat, assuming the opponent can't drastically close the distance. The Sho-sho short saber, commonly referred to as the lightsaber Sho-sho saber, or short saber, is a miniaturized single-bladed lightsaber. The blade is often around 2/3 the length, coming in at about 2 feet, and the hilt is slightly shortened to accommodate at around 7 to 10 inches. It is mostly used as a size thing, simply scaling the weapon to the user in the case of species of smaller stature, but there are cases where it is used by standard-sized humanoids. The vast majority see it as too much of a trade-off, sacrificing too much reach and leverage for too little extra speed and precision. It is instead often used as an offhand weapon, utilising a standard lightsaber defensive and the Sho-sho for last-ditch close-quarters defence, or quick counter-jabs. This pairing is common amongst practitioners of Jedi dual-blade fencing, specifically the 9-man variant. The lightsaber club, commonly referred to as the light club or saber club, is just the opposite of a Sho-sho, and an oversized lightsaber. Its blade is longer and thicker, the standard saber being approximately 2/3 its length, with it typically measuring in at about 4.5 feet. Its hilt is also enlarged. Though it is unknown how much by, depictions of it show a hilt measuring more drastically than the Sho-sho, possibly in the region of 15 to 20 inches, with a far greater girth to keep everything in proportion. Unlike the Sho-sho, it would be unwieldy for someone of standard size, and can realistically only be used as a proportionate weapon. As such, it has no limitations or amplifications from the standard lightsaber, simply scaling everything up in accordance to the wielder. The lightsaber staff, commonly referred to as a double-bladed lightsaber or simply a saber staff, is a more drastic variant from the norm. In simple terms, this weapon is two standard lightsabers joined together at the pommels, forming one weapon with a double-length hilt, and a blade on each end. The hilt therefore measures in anywhere between 18 and 28 inches, and the blade still maintain the ordinary 3 feet. This weapon can be suited for any occasion, whether it be on the battlefield or against single opponents, against a melee attack or blasters. It is said that the twin blades do make it easier to combat multiple opponents simultaneously, but it can often restrict one's motion to perform well in single combat. It greatly sacrifices maneuverability and basic speed for quick counterattacks, intimidation, and strength-based assaults. Its greatest weaknesses are its limited motion and the large target offered by the hilt, which can be very difficult to defend. To make up for this, however, the hilt can be used offensively to cause bludgeoning damage, and the weapon has a large blade surface area for parrying. In the words of Lord Kassim, and as a passage from Darth Bane, Path of Destruction, I quote, "In combat, your mind tries to keep track of each blade separately, effectively doubling the number of possibilities. But the two blades are connected. By knowing the location of one, you are automatically aware of the location of the other. In actual practice, the double-bladed lightsaber is more limited than the traditional lightsaber. It can do more damage, but is less precise. It requires longer, sweeping movements that don't transition well into a quick stab or thrust. Because the weapon is more difficult to master, however, few amongst the Jedi, or even the Sith, understand it. They don't know how to attack or defend effectively against it. That gives those of us who use it an advantage over most of our opponents." The crossguard lightsaber, also known as the guard saber or the cross saber, is a standard single-bladed lightsaber with two mini-blades extruding from the top of the hilt, perpendicular to the main blade. The main blade is the same size as a standard saber, that being just over 3 feet in length, and the guard blades are much shorter, about 4 to 6 inches in length. As a weapon, it handles very similarly to a medieval longsword, with the small blades acting as a handguard. The main blade itself handles very similarly to a standard saber, and contrary to popular belief, there is little chance of the guard blades getting in the way. Though they can be a nuisance when performing wide sweeping movements, they actually provide great benefit with a wider surface area for parrying in tight sequences of motion. This leads to my belief that the crossguard mechanism can be a hindrance on the battlefield, especially with blast deflection, where the user will want as wide an area of movement as possible, an area narrowed by the small blades. However, in single combat, where tight, close to the body movements are the norm, the guards wouldn't really get in the way, and would likely turn out beneficial, especially if the wielder has trained to use the weapon to its peak efficiency. Because of this, it is mostly noted as a dedicated dueling weapon, not for wild battlefield engagements. The additional blades can also be used to catch the opponent's blade in a lock, or even be used to spike the opponent in live combat. The lightsaber whip, also known as the light whip or saber whip, is the most radical of all the lightsaber types. Its unique property being that instead of a rigid blade, the light whip generates a flexible ribbon of plasma. In order to make the weapon effective, it is also greatly lengthened. If straightened out, a light whip blade can measure upwards of 9 feet. Its handle is the same as that of a standard single-bladed lightsaber in size and shape. It is fantastic at range, able to attack enemies before they can reach you, and can deal with groups of adversaries effectively. Its long sweeping arcs able to carve through multiple opponents with one swipe. However, it offers a massive trade-off. In close quarters, it is incredibly difficult to utilise, and hard not to get wrapped up in your own weapon. It is practically hopeless on the defensive, its flexible blade unable to block or parry, and is all but useless for blaster deflection. In the way it functions as a whole, it is basically an extreme saber staff, considerably less effective in combat. However, next to no one practices with or against it, which gives it great unpredictability to 99% of opponents. The best way to defend against it is with twin blades, preferably a standard saber paired off with a Sho-sho. This increases the surface area for blocking, and allows you to swat away the whip with one blade, whilst rushing out for the strike with the other. And so, there are all the different types of lightsabers. Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. What type would you have if you had to choose one? If you enjoyed the video, tap that like button, and if you loved it, subscribe as well. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.